guys, it's me Matthew, of course, and in this video, I'm back with some more Dungeons & Dragons map making. This time, I'm whispering. I spent today's stream making, well, I didn't make all of this. I edited this part heavily right here, everything in this region I edited a lot, but I've been working on this off and on, changing things here and there, deciding what I'm gonna do. I'm still deciding a lot. As you can tell here, none of this is set in stone right now, or this. This kind of is. I really like what I've done over here. Before I get too much farther though, I will forget. I'd like to thank God and Infinitum Gaming for financially supporting this channel. If you're interested in becoming a member or a patron, please check the blue join button or the description for a link to my Patreon page. I also have a link to my Discord server, my Twitch stream, and my Teespring store. Any feedback on all of those things is more than appreciated. Same with this map. Anyways, if you're familiar with geography, then you would know that this right here is supposed to be Newfoundland. I kind of copied it, I edited it a little bit here and there, but I'm still working on that. This wasn't actually taken from anything, but Michael said that it looked like Italy, so I had to make the little Italian hand thing, That does not look right. Yeah, it's a spicy meatball. But actually I think this was an accident as well. It just happened to look right. This was loosely based off of Japan, very loosely. And this is an eye patch. It's a pirate haven. Michael wanted me to make an eye patch island, so I did. Yeah. The rest of this has been just a very long work in progress, trying to figure out what I like and what I don't like, erasing and getting rid of things dramatically here and there, depending on how I feel. This was originally going to be a remade version of my very first map, O Stark. Like this over here was tall, but instead Michael said that it looked like a giant earth nipple, so I decided to completely change it. Yeah. This was supposed to be fragile. And then I kinda just scrapped the rest of it entirely. Even though, whoops. These are like the only locations that were important to the story that I had going on. The Broken Teeth clan, the Daozikus tribe of the lizard folk, and the Drudge, and also these mountains, and I suppose Redril. But that campaign is very early in. I haven't gotten to get back to it yet, and I might end up restarting it if I'm ever able to run that campaign again, so I am still interested in looking for players, potentially outside of the membership options, depending on how things go. So if you're interested, join my Discord server, and maybe something will happen. But anyways, I hope that you can hear me well, and I hope that this is relaxing. But for now, what I'm going to do is try to figure out the proper geography for all of this. I'm going to look up the map, just world map real quick. Go to Google Maps, Control-Shift-B, do that, minimize that, go to the satellite, and I'm not going to show the map because it does have my location marked. So, gotta be careful with that kind of stuff. But I'm going to look at the geography and where biomes, different types of terrain end up. Now, generally speaking, this entire map is about the size of about 2/3 of the United States, give or take. I was originally planning on making a world-sized map, which was, let's see here. This was Arda. This is my second map that I've ever made. I spent quite a bit of time on this one, but I didn't like it too much. It's all over the place. It's weird. There's not that much land area. I used all sorts of different assets, and it's honestly a little too detailed. And a lot of things are like the size of everything is confusing. The perspective is confusing. So, it's better to make smaller maps. Oh yeah, I joined a contest, and I made a layer of the Abyss very quickly in the same program. I was just interested in joining their map competition, and unfortunately, the only competition they had going on was for the Abyss, and I don't know anything about the Abyss, so I just fuck it. I made the Doom. I found a font that looked like Doom letters. I colored them like that, and I just went for it. Anyways, enough story time. Let's get into the meat. Now, Michael said, or he suggested to base this off of China, because it's kind of got that situation going on here. This is kind of like Taiwan, but larger. Although it's kind of curved in here, while China is more round. I'm not going to copy everything, of course. I'm just going to try to figure out how weather, water, and all that is distributed. Like, in comparison, this would be the Himalayan range. But I don't have anything like that. I could copy it, but I don't want to. This is supposed to be... Okay, one of the original ideas for this map was that there was a giant crater here left by a massive supervolcano, a caldera. And the idea was that it fractured the plate and it created the two separate islands, and it had, a current going in between. I decided that it was a little too difficult. It didn't look good, the way that I was doing it. So I thought maybe I could make a freshwater caldera fed from mountain springs, I suppose. Or, accumulated water from, the atmosphere running into the clouds. Not running into the clouds. The clouds hitting the mountains. And, weather, I'm just gonna leave it at that. I am not a meteorologist, a geologist, or anything like that. I am just a guy with a map making program. Fantasy map making program. least make some areas realistic, while I still have fantastical areas that can be explained away with all sorts of interesting backstories. Like, the backstory I have for this island here is that the Tritons, the underwater elves, took a hold here and slowly shaped the land. That's kind of what I was going for, but I'm not sure. That can change. For the campaign that I was running, I had a giant lich frost dragon, or I guess it was a white dragon that was, I guess, lichified, and it was attempting to spread frost across the world, and it was up to the orc and lizard folk man to figure out how the fuck to stop it. But I'm starting to feel like maybe that's a bit too much for this world, having a giant dragon tooth shaped island along with that and that, and all this. It feels like there might be a bit too much, but I'm not sure yet. Maybe I can make it smaller. We'll see. These are all supposed to be like fjords or fjords. Where glaciers carved through the land to mimic a Scandinavian kind of geography. I didn't do that good of a job. But it exists, so, what I think I might do here is get rid of all of the mountains again, and maybe the water as well. I'm gonna leave the volcanic mountains, and so far I like this island. So I'm gonna try to, imitate the climate. So, this is very tropical. All the moisture is accumulating on this side of the island for the most part. And this is starting to get more arid and dry. So I was thinking of making more of like a plains/desert situation, even though China has a lot more wet right here. I don't know. It's all workshopping. One thing that I will do is focus on making mountain ranges first, and potentially reshaping the land. I guess what I'll do for now is just kinda go over this with a simple green. Oops, I don't want to. I already have this kind of nice, so I don't want to ruin that entirely. I don't really care about this stuff being Snow White just yet. I'm still reshaping a lot of stuff, so. And interruption. I'm not sure if the interruption is over or not, but I'm gonna act like it is for now. So cover that with green for now as well. So let's see here. I'm not really liking how exaggerated all of this is, honestly. So I'm gonna fill some of this in here, actually. I like that bit. I think I want to mimic that a lot more. Because while I was, getting distracted, not distracted, interrupted, I should say, I was looking at, Norwegian coast and making sure that it looked somewhat accurate. And of course, course, it doesn't. So let's see here. Norwegian Ghost is just, oh boy, just oh boy. This kind of looks like the Statue of Liberty. I'm not gonna leave that, unfortunately. Maybe I will. Maybe I will. Yeah. Let's see here. All these tiny islands are interesting, but I don't know. I don't see that many islands that far away from the coast. Okay, now I think the interruption is over. I'm not sure, but I'm gonna try to get somewhat of an idea of what, this would look like. It does look like, in some situations there might be a nice big tear from a glacier. Kind of widens out a little bit. And then there's, smaller glacier fjords off of that. I don't know how much they twist and turn, really. Maybe a little bit here and there. I don't know, maybe that's too many. We'll see. There's kind of some branching off. Some smaller ones in between. I don't know, that seems a little too well shaped. So maybe I can fuck it up a little bit more. Yeah, I like that. That looks pretty interesting. I don't know about all this though. Maybe. I hope that wasn't a firework. I like that. I like that. It's interesting. Whoops. Let's fill that in and try to make something happen here. Let's kind of fill these in afterwards. There might be too much going on here at similar angles. So I could do something like that. I don't know, that seems like I'm repeating a lot there. I don't want too much of a pattern going on. because, nature doesn't have a ton of patterns like that. It has some, but it doesn't stretch like forever. It does seem to stretch a lot in like Norway's coast. But it's very interesting. It comes at strange angles that you don't really expect. It's not all just from inland to outland. It comes like some will go like that. Maybe. So let's, yeah, kind of like that. We'll have some offshoots. Yeah, kind of like something like that, maybe. I don't know. No, that's a bit too much of a copy, I think. That's not bad. I feel like I should narrow out a little bit more. Okay, now it's just making the OK symbol, but I can't see the rest of the fingers. Let's see here. Some of them are a little bit more extreme. But what I could do here is maybe something like that. Just kind of. And another interruption. Alright, that interruption appears to be over. Okay, there is a lot of small things going on here, and it seems to be just very sporadic, really. And some of them do go inland quite a bit. That's kind of interesting. I don't mind that too much. That seems a little copy. Too much copy. No. Something like that. Alright, okay. I thought my cat had something in her mouth. She did not, thankfully. Some of these do sneak in really far inland. Some of them aren't even attached to the sea. No, like almost all of Norway is, fjords and shit like that. At least it looks like that from above. I've never been there. My ancestors are from Norway. I think my great-great-great-grandfather moved here to California, Sacramento, and bought a lot of land. And my family still, not my family necessarily, but relatives still own a lot of that farmland. What hasn't been sold off, they're still growing stuff on. I was actually looking into a job out there. It'd be really cool to get in touch with all of them for the first time in my life. There's a lot of family that I've never really talked to, but that's a whole Norwegian to talk to all of my family out in Norway, and a third interruption. Alright. But as I was saying, I think I still have quite a bit of family out in Norway. I have no idea, nothing about them at all. But apparently I do. So I would have to learn Norwegian for that. I don't know a lot. I used to know more. I was trying to learn it for a while, but as with most things, when it comes to me, I pick things up and I put them down, and then I forget about them for a long time. And that's one of those things that I forgot about after I put down, and I just, haven't picked it back up. Unfortunately for me, that's a reoccurring situation. But apparently it is for a lot of people, so, that does make me feel a little bit better. Only a little bit. Let's see here. That's interesting. I don't hate that. I think that's more than enough. But at the same time, I feel like I could add more and get away with it. So I think I might do a little bit more right here. Not too much. I think I'm overthinking this one. Yeah, sure, let's go with that. Oh man, this is difficult. Okay. That looks like a finger, like two fingers walking. Spider. That's one thing I could do, is just kind of come out here and make a lot of splotches and then fill it in with the raise elevation tool and just kind of see what happens. Kind of remake Sweden's lakes. It's just infinite amount of small bodies of water all over the place, like Minnesota. At least parts of Minnesota. Which apparently a lot of Norwegians move to. Oh yeah, I think the only Norwegian that I really know anymore are very simple things like bro, but also jeg kommer fra, and in this case, California. Jeg kommer fra California. I don't really know if you're supposed to say certain things like California differently. I'd imagine not, but maybe a little bit more generic, like jeg kommer fra America. I don't know. I have Norwegian blood, but I am American, unfortunately for me. I would have loved to have been born and raised in Norway, but a lot of people would also love to be born and raised in California. Funny how things work out, Alright. I could be overdoing it, but I think that's fine. What I could do is have like a Sweden Maybe I don't know this by heart. Is that Gulf of Bothnia? You know, I've never looked that up before. I never tried to figure out what that body of water was that separated Sweden and Finland. There's also the Baltic Sea right next to it. For some reason, in my mind, I thought Denmark and Sweden were farther apart. But everything's a lot closer than I remember. I don't want to mimic things exactly. Just a little bit here and there, because it's fun and interesting, easy, mostly the easy part. Let's see here. I don't know, this body of water, not body of water, this landmass doesn't, I feel like it wouldn't be that perfect. Like, there wouldn't be that much of it, especially up in this area. So maybe I could have something a little bit more simple, like that happen here and there. Yeah. That looks a little too, I don't know, not random, smooth, so I can try to mess them up a little bit, or too smooth, I mean, did I say not smooth? I meant too smooth. Let's try something like that, maybe. Just kind of break it up. That's interesting. I don't mind that. Yeah, I think I could use a little bit of work here and there. But I'm starting to like how it's coming together. It looks a lot more believable than the last situation. So, you know, every piece of this map is, you know, a work in progress. There are little things I change here and there. I think the only things I'm satisfied with are this part, that part, that part, that part, this part, and this part, and I haven't done the detailing, but I really like what I got going on here. Which, this used to be attached, and, you know, there's a big gap here, so I have a lot to work with if I wanted, but I do want some wide open spaces. I don't want to make everything too busy. I have a problem with doing that, so, anyways, this is more like a test run for whispering. I hope this comes out well. I hope you found this relaxing and enjoyable, and hopefully you're asleep. But if you're not, please do remember to like, subscribe, share, comment, all of that good stuff. It helps my channel tremendously. There's a lot of ways to support this channel, both financially and not. So if you enjoy my content, please, anything that you're willing to do helps a lot. And also, I really like seeing comments and responding when I can. If you have any ideas for future videos or things you'd like to see, let me know, and I'd be more than happy to at least consider it. But I usually actually take requests and fulfill them most of the time. But yeah, thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye bye, and good night.